sit over here. Okay, well, you sure?
Okay, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, Madam President.
Thank you for that, Councilmember Westmoreland. Thank you. Welcome, everyone, to January 20th, 2026 Atlanta City Council meeting. I am Council President Marcy Collier Overstreet. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Good afternoon, Council President and members of Council. We have Council President Marcy Collier Overstreet,
Present.
Councilmember Michael Julian Bond, Post 1 at Large, Councilmember Matt Westmoreland, Post 2 at Large,
Here.
Councilmember Ishay Collins, Post 3 at Large,
Present.
Councilmember Jason H. Winston, District 1,
Here.
Councilmember Kelsey Bond, District 2, Councilmember Byron D. Amos, District 3,
Here.
Councilmember Jason Dozier, District 4,
Present.
Councilmember Liliana Bakhtiari, District 5, Councilmember Alex Wan, District 6, Councilmember Thomas Worthy, District 7, Councilmember Mary Norwood, District 8,
Present.
Councilmember Dustin Hillis, District 9, Councilmember Andrea O'Boone, District 10,
Present.
Councilmember Wayne Martin, District 11,
Present.
Councilmember Antonio Lewis, District 12.
Let's go.
Madam President, we do have a quorum of members present of 13 yeas, 13 present.
Okay, so I will entertain a motion to adopt the agenda.
Second. Thank you.
So moved by Liliana Bakhtiari, Councilmember Lewis, second. Please prepare the vote. Well, actually, this can be done by unanimous consent without objection. Any objections? Okay, Madam Clerk, please sound the count.
14 yeas, 0 nays.
14 yeas, 0 nays. The meeting agenda has been adopted. It's time for invocation. Today, our invocation will be delivered by the Reverend Dr. William E. Flippin Sr., the visionary pastor of the Greater Piney Grove Baptist Church. The Reverend Dr. Flippin has led this congregation since 1990 and has guided them through remarkable growth and transformation. Welcome and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
Absolutely, come right here.
Good afternoon. What an honor to be asked to come for this first City Council meeting of the new year with new leadership. We applaud you and we are grateful for all of you that I know, many of you and I've worked with, and I love you. I got to give a shout out to Ishay Collins, my church member. Amen. And I hope I don't get in trouble with Lily, Terry and others, but just know that I appreciate all of you, and we're just so proud of you. And we're happy that you are part of our leadership. Let us pray. Gracious and almighty Creator, we gather today in this historic chamber as the Gate City of the South, mindful of the great responsibility placed upon these leaders. We thank you for this new season of leadership. We lift up our new council president, Marcy Collier Overstreet, and the newly elected council members as they take their seats to serve the people of Atlanta. Lord, grant them a spirit of collaboration, clarity of mind, and a heart for justice. We thank you for the energy and the vision of our mayor, who works tirelessly to keep Atlanta moving forward. We're grateful that our city remains a beacon for the world, a place that attracts world-class events, global innovators, and dreamers from every corner of the earth. We look forward with hope to the moments this year when the eyes of the world will be on us. Yet even as we reach for the stars, we pray for those whose feet are on weary ground. We bring for you the heavy burdens of our citizens, the families that are worried by the high cost of a bag of groceries, the young people priced out of the neighborhoods they call home, and those who feel the shadow of crime in their communities. Give this council the wisdom to build more than just skyscrapers. Help them to build, in the words of Dr. Martin Luther King, a beloved community where housing is a right, not a luxury, where safety is a place dwelt in every zip code. May their decisions this day and this year reflect a commitment to the least of these, ensuring that as Atlanta rises, no one is left behind in this group project. In this year of great promise and great challenge, let hope be our compass. Guide these leaders to be servants first, and may their work here this day, this year, bring honor to the people of Atlanta, but more importantly to you. In the name of our God we pray, amen.
Amen. Oh, no, thank you, thank you. This is exactly what we needed to get this year started. Thank you so much, Reverend Dr. Flippin, for coming.
Thank you.
Okay, and with that, it's time for us to do our Pledge of Allegiance. Will everyone please rise and recite the Pledge of Allegiance with me? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, and you guys aren't going to believe this. We have no proclamations or commendations today. That's not going to happen that often, but we do not have them today. So with that, we're moving on to remarks by the public. And I want to take a moment to talk about that. Each speaker will have 2 minutes or up to 10 minutes with donated time. Pursuant to our city code, speakers who have received donated time will be placed at the end of the speakers list. This is not new. This is actually our code. So that is what we will start doing here in this council chamber. And with that, we'll get started.
These are the first, we're having internet issues, so these are the ones with no time first, and then you can go to these, and we'll print those after.
These have no yielded time.
Yeah,
Okay.
the one that's no.
Okay. Just so before we get started, a couple things. We do allow yielded time, as always, up to 10 minutes. The person yielding the time does have to be in attendance here in council chamber. So I may ask to see you, and as spoken before, the yielded time speakers will be at the end of the speakers list. Also, decorum. I don't mind clapping, but that is going to impede your time or infringe on the person that's speaking after you. I also have taken the privilege of pulling up the speakers' public comment from jurisdictions throughout the city of Atlanta and surrounding. So if you'd like any of this information as to where the city of Atlanta stands on public comment, I will tell you outright, we are the most lenient in our practices here in allowing yielded time, and also happy to hear from everyone from any jurisdiction about any item that you wish to speak about. That is not what happens in other jurisdictions. And that includes APS, Fulton County, DeKalb County, Cobb County, MARTA, Gwinnett County, Douglas County. We are by far the most lenient, and we are happy to hear from you. But we want to do it in a respectful manner here. Our council members will not be speaking back and forth with the commenter. So if you'd like to speak more directly with the council members, they have, and so do I, we have office hours. Happy to speak with you. They will have their cards for you, or you can do sidebars very quietly on either side or anywhere in City Hall. It's fine. But not during your public comment time or the person behind you, or during our full council. That is not the time to have dialogue back and forth between a public commenter and a council person. So those are the rules which are actually codified, and in our code, that would be section 2-104A, paragraph 2. And with that, we'll get started with my list. First commenter, and this is another thing, I'll have 3 come to the podium so that we can do it a little quicker. And that means that I'll call out 3 names, you all will come forward. So, you'll come forward and I'll call you to speak, and you'll get your 2 minutes. And we'll just start with that. So Michael Collins, you are our first speaker. Second will be Ashley Greenwade. Third is Valerie Anderson. Please come forward. Two minutes, Mr. Collins.
Great, thank you so much. My name is Michael Collins. I am the director of Playfair ATL. We are a coalition dedicated to making sure the World Cup in Atlanta is one that protects our most vulnerable people, that gives back to residents. We have a number of organizations from labor, human rights, immigration, criminal justice, and housing. I know that last week there was a presentation by the host committee about the World Cup, very much putting the World Cup in a positive light. We share that philosophy that we want the World Cup to be something that presents a really positive picture of our city. But we just also want the City Council to be engaged and aware of some of the potential pitfalls and some of the ways in which our most vulnerable communities may not be protected. We know that the Mayor has placed a lot of emphasis on housing in his last term and in his inauguration speech, but we want to make sure that as we are engaging unhoused people in advance of the World Cup, that there is enough housing there. You know, the governor made a big announcement about funding last week for the city. That's something, again, that we welcome, but it remains to be seen whether there is enough housing for individuals who are being displaced. There's a big concern that as we have a huge population coming to the city, 300,000 visitors, that some of those people may end up, you know, being arrested on minor offences. Are they going to end up in Fulton County Jail, which we know is a real disaster zone and has been deemed unconstitutional? The ongoing issues around ICE and immigration, it's a huge flashpoint for the World Cup. We want the city to engage in that. The city has had water infrastructure problems that we know of. We now have 300,000 additional visitors. Transit issues, you know, I saw MARTA last week saying that they were delaying some of their new trains. And then overall, the impact on the Black community. So we just really want the City Council to be engaged
Thank you, Mr. Collins. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next speaker, Ashley Greenwade. And the one after that would be Valerie Anderson. Are you present? Okay. Oh, is it Valerie? Got it. It's not spelled correctly. Okay, 2 minutes, Ms. Ashley.
Hi. I've noticed a pattern of the legal system being covertly abused. I, Ashley London Greenwade, planned an entrapment where I shared my fears and intentions, supported by an NYC Elise in 2009, among others. The entrapment was set in 2016 to expose Sarah Scott, a habitual false reporter, who her sister Emerald and I witnessed her rape her then 1-year-old son, Sir Honor, in 2017, and my estranged family offering a false narrative to do so, among others. I acknowledge being the catalyst to this societal recklessness by simply holding Sir on a nanny cam twice to expose the impending theft of my Apple shares purchased in 1999, provide precedent of Satanism and dark religions using coverage of the law and those willing to sell their soul to organized religious crime. And now my daughter, Eris Harris, who was taken with force by people better known as T.I. and Tiny. This operation, though successful, has not been acknowledged or highlighted. Across the nation, law enforcement is overworked, underpaid, underfunded, losing touch with perception as reality overcomes the fact that they're used to referee and police what is able to be seen, heard, and perceived properly in accordance with the identity of a person and their stereotype, discounting their abilities or humanity, not to fight crime, but according to laws to help it, leaving them helpless and trapped by politics and the public. They are to tirelessly ignore or overlook the conditions human beings live in to protect what's left of their dignity with willing and or unwilling participation to survive the lottery, that depending on who blows the whistle is set up in accordance with the law to be covered up in secrecy and in hiding, which is the definition of the term occult. My 25 cases reported in Georgia over 20 years show a pattern of organized crime being falsified, underreported, ignored, or otherwise planted unreliable evidence that is guarded and no longer is even remotely reliable by legal terminologies or standards, with the pattern of a bad actor SVU supervising detective client covering up cases spanning from 2020 to 2026 and is currently targeting pans from a recent rape I keep in storage. My TMZ arrest exposes these staged and set up narratives that include the abuse of all aspects of our system that by contrast will be categorized as treason, using religion to quietly conduct crimes on humanity and genocide similar to COVID and the Holocaust, as well as individuals like Tia's attorney, Steve Sato, unknowingly assisting organized crime, setting up innocent people abusing this system known as democide.
Thank you, Ms. Greenwade.
Thank you.
Your time is up. Thanks for coming. Valerie Anderson, 2 minutes.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I guess I don't have to refresh you all about my situation with the death and murder of my son, Devon Anderson, who was murdered by Melvin Potter, the off-duty police officer who was on probation when he murdered my son. And I was, I guess since the rules has changed, because my question was to Byron Amos as far as any information about the obstruction charge that he received and where that's at. So I guess I'll have to get in touch with you to find out what's going on with that. But my position remains the same as far as me not having any faith, not having any feeling like I'm not getting any justice as far as my son is concerned, because I feel like the system is more concerned in covering Melvin Potter than doing the right thing as far as my son. Because there has been too much things that's been where he has been given more opportunities with what has occurred. And I don't feel that's right. I don't feel that's right at all. And I'm here to get justice for my son. That's pretty much it. Justice for my son. Hold Melvin Potter accountable for what he did and be transparent about what happened that night with my son. I don't feel that's too much to ask. It's not too much to ask what happened to my son. Why was my son murdered like that? So all I'm here for to know is what happened to my son. That's pretty much it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Anderson. The next 3 speakers, Madeline Alzamora, Joetta Burnett, Henri Jordan. Please come forward. You may go, Ms. Alzamora.
I'm speaking today to advocate that Atlanta rename Old Wheat Street to Cornelius Taylor Street. Cornelius Taylor was killed in a city-led encampment suite trying to, quote, clean up for Martin Luther King Day, which is, okay. We must remember the human cost of Atlanta's homelessness policies, which are harming people every single day. And as the Reverend said, we want to move towards no one being left behind. This is a good place to start, but this is not nearly the end of what needs to be done. I am the first person who will speak on this today, but I am not nearly the last, and I ask that you give them consideration, especially as they are family members and friends and neighbors and other people who are directly impacted by the death of Cornelius Taylor and Atlanta's harmful homelessness policies. Thank you.
Thank you, Madeline. Thank you, Madeline. Joetta Burnett, you have 2 minutes.
Yes. I'm here to speak for Cornelius Taylor. Encampment is right. If one does not have housing anywhere on the planet, we must continue our fight for Cornelius Taylor. And he should be on planet Earth today. However, the person that massacred him violated his human, civil, and human rights. He should have been able to defend himself. However, he was helpless and had no one to help him defend himself. So therefore, I am speaking for him. Yes, to receive justice now. Now. Many people have had housing in tents on earth called indigenous in the USA. And it was our indigenous land and what is now called the USA. The greatest Holocaust on planet Earth, because Cornelius Taylor is one of the people that's not here because of the great Holocaust on planet Earth in the USA.
Thank you, Ms. Barnett. Henri Jordan, 2 minutes.
Give now to the Spirit of God, everyone that's here. But now I have written unto you, not to keep company of any man that is called a brother, be a fornicator, or covetous, or an idolater, or a railer, or a drunkard, or extortioner. With such a one know not to eat. 1 Corinthians 5th chapter 11th verse. It has the idea of close habitual association. Grains with actions or fornicator, covetous, extortioner, drunkard, etc. Jesus says not to eat with this person. I'm seeking to avoid going to hell and death. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. St. Matthew 5th chapter 16th verse. He is not to set his light up on a candlestick, nor hide it under a bushel. That is a basket. When you hide what Christ is doing through me, then you fight against God's light working to help you and ask for death. For God commanded, saying, honor thy father and mother, he that curseth father or mother, let him die to death. Matthew 15, chapter 4, verse. If my children seek to curse me, they ask for death. When anyone seeks to curse their parents, they ask for death. Because the foolishness of God is wiser than men, and the weakness of God is stronger than men. 1 Corinthians 1st chapter 25th verse. Not many wise. The nature of Paul's argument tells us that most of the Corinthians congregation were the poor class of Corinthian congregation society. Christ desires us not to trust in our flesh and let him work in us. You give yourself credit for what Jesus has done through me. Then you fight against Christ's gift working in me, not me. Jesus did tell me James Griffiths against his word, and God's word created the income. Jesus desires your protection. I'm just a vessel. We should seek to obey Christ.
Thank you, Ms. Jordan. Our next three speakers, Devin Franklin, Lolita Griffith, Tim Franzen. Please come forward. Mr. Franklin, you have 2 minutes.
Thank you, President Collier Street. Good afternoon, council members. To those who are returning to this body, it's good to see you all again. And to the new members of council, Happy New Year, and I want to congratulate you all on being here, and I look forward to becoming familiar with you all. My name is Devin Franklin. I am Senior Movement Policy Counsel at the Southern Center for Human Rights. We are a nonprofit law firm located here in Atlanta, Georgia, working towards decriminalization of poverty in the Deep South. We utilize impact and capital litigation in our efforts to end the death penalty, as well as to address the inhumane conditions that exist in state jails and prisons. However, as it pertains to you all specifically, my work centers primarily on local level advocacy, particularly here as it pertains to matters that involve incarceration and policing and things of that nature. I hope that where we intersect is working along collaboratively to identify areas where we can seek accountability and transparency, particularly as it pertains to legislation that is engaged in by this council. Now, for those who are already familiar with me, they already know what I'm going to talk about. But for you all who are not, I would like to bring your attention to the existing lease of the Atlanta City Detention Center to Fulton County Jail, and particularly as it pertains to the stage withdrawal that is required by Ordinance 01632. I'm really glad to hear that we are going to have this renewed focus on abiding by ordinances under Council President Marcy Overstreet. This particular ordinance in Section 2 requires a detailed update at the Public Safety and Legal Administration Committee within 270 days of the end of the term of that lease, which for your purposes should be around March 5th. So as we sit here and try to figure out what we're going to do to ensure the safety of individuals within Fulton County, within the Atlanta City Detention Center, I look forward to working with you all and hearing from you. So take care.
Thank you, Mr. Franklin. Lolita Griffith, you have 2 minutes. Tim Franzen, you will be next.
Good morning. My name is Lolita Griffith. I am Cornelius Taylor's fiance. All I want is justice for my baby. Sorry. I'm sorry.
I understand.
I'm here to, all I want to do is I want to, like, whatever is right as far as when they, I hate to say it, when they killed my baby, they gave me, like, everything, like my brain. I'm so confused right now, I'm sorry. But I just want y'all to know that my baby got killed, and that's all. I can't think anymore. I can't even think right now. And I wish you all, even with the coalition, even with the, oh my God, I'm so sorry, y'all. But I'm just so upset. And I probably should have had another chance to talk, excuse me? Okay, so, all I want is for, can I say the mayor? Can I talk to the mayor?
You can. You would need to go to the mayor's office, which is literally in the, right outside of the council chamber to your left. You would need to go there to get on this calendar.
Okay,
Thank you, Ms. Griffith, for coming.
I'm sorry.
Tim Franzen, you have 2 minutes.
Good afternoon, council. I'm here with the Justice for Cornelius Taylor Coalition to ask for your support to renaming a small section of Old Wheat Street to Cornelius Taylor Street. A year ago, Cornelius Taylor was killed during a city-led encampment sweep on this very street. He's not just an unhoused person, he was a partner, a friend, a neighbor. His death was not inevitable. It was a result of policy choices that treated people as problems to be removed rather than human beings deserving safety and housing. You want to be clear, we respect the historic significance of Old Wheat Street. History matters. There are 2 Old Wheat Streets in Atlanta, and we are only asking that a small section, the exact place that Cornelius lost his life, to be renamed. This is not about erasing history. It's about making sure that history tells the truth. Street names are how cities remember. They are lessons we leave for future generations. Renaming this section tells the city and everyone who passes through it that Atlanta acknowledges what happened here and commits to never letting it happen again. The request comes from people most impacted, from Cornelius's loved ones, from the community that lived on Old Wheat Street. Naming the place after him is an act of dignity, accountability, and care. We ask that you honor Cornelius Taylor and move this request forward. I thank y'all. Happy New Year, and I want to ask all those in the People's House that will to raise your hand in support of changing this name, in support of creating policies that put people in homes and create wraparound services that keep them in those homes. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Franson. Our next three speakers, Marjorie McLeod, Kristen Garrett, Matthew Nursery. Please come forward. Ms. McLeod, you have 2 minutes.
Happy New Year's. Happy New Year's. New people, I hope that, oh my goodness. Happy New Year's. I don't know how to, what's it going? Happy New Year's. What I'm here for because this is the first year, the new year. The new year, the new people that just came in, please, when y'all vote, please vote for the people. The mayor, whatever, vote for your heart. Vote because the people depend on you. He did not put you in. The people put you in. And I came for 2 years saying rent control, put a cap on the rent. But now y'all saying the same thing that what I'm saying. What I'm saying to y'all, the people come first. And the mayor, if you saying that you're gonna raise the minimum wage to $17, please keep your word. And then y'all say, we need housing. I'm gonna say affordability. I'm not gonna say affordability. We do not have enough housing. You keep saying that you're building these houses, but where are they? Where the $400? Where the $700 houses at? I asked you that before last year. And what I'm saying also, Mayor, sometimes you can't take money. $75 million Trump gave you. I need to have an understanding about DEI. I read it in the paper, so you need make sure that people talking about, are you took this money from a snake? Because when the snake bites you, he gonna come after you. $75 million you sold Atlanta out for DEI? Please call me. I want to understand, what did you do? Did you take that money not to talk about DEI? And DEI, we had Martin Luther King Day yesterday. And he fought for that. And you took it away from the city of Atlanta?
Thank you, Ms. McLeod.
New York didn't take the money, so why did you take the money? That's my question.
Thank you.
Why did you take the money?
Kristen Garrett, you have 2 minutes.
I can't get it on, say OJ backstabber.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Kristen Garrett. I'm here as a mother and as a member of the city who has experienced a loss that it should never happen. On January 16th, 2025, my son's father, Cornelius Taylor, was killed by a frontloader during a homeless encampment sweep here in the city of Atlanta. He was a human being, he was loved, he mattered. Today, we are asking the city to rename Old Wheat Street to Cornelius Taylor Street. This is a request, not about a name. It is about acknowledgement. It's about recognizing that a life was lost during a city action and that we have a responsibility to remember and to do better. Cornelius was a statistic, and he was more than a statistic or an incident report. He was a father, he was a family, he had family. Renaming this street would honor his life and send a message that Atlanta values accountability, humanity, and dignity, even for those who are unhoused. We are not here in anger. We are here asking for respect, remembrance, and compassion. This street name would ensure that Cornelius Taylor is not forgotten and that what happened to him is never ignored. We respectfully ask the council to support renaming the Old Wheat Street to Cornelius Taylor Street. Thank you for your time and hearing us.
Thank you, Ms. Garrett. Matthew Nursery, you have 2 minutes.
Hello, thank you, Council. My name is Matthew Nursery. I am an organizer with the Housing Justice League here on behalf of the Justice for Cornelius Taylor Coalition. I want to start by saying we are showing up to the county to make sure that they do their part as well. I want to get that out before I start saying some of the things I want to. I'm here to support, as my comrades did, renaming Old Wheat Street to Cornelius Taylor Street to keep his memory alive And apparently we need to keep his name out there as loudly as possible, as much as possible, because the sweeps have not ended. They're continuing. In fact, they've just updated the best practices a little bit, adding in some more tent checks, some fancy, expensive infrared, but the fact remains the same. Folks are being swept out of their encampments where they're living without being given house keys. And we have the World Cup coming, as was mentioned. There's roughly over 3,000 unhoused individuals in Atlanta. And I think the Downtown Rising Plan is going to house about 400 of those folks. So the math ain't math in there. And we know from experience of just trying to get 30 individuals into housing that we were told that there was nowhere for them to go. And it took months of fighting in order to even get individuals into Welcome House. And so really the problem is that we continue to put the responsibility of continuum of care into the hands of nonprofits and the private sector. I work for a nonprofit, but this is something the city should be doing. We need to be funding wraparound services like food, transportation, healthcare, mental, physical healthcare, all of that. The fact of the matter is that we do have housing, we could put folks into them, but we do need to massively scale up the building of our housing as well. We have unhoused neighbors, we have empty homes, and we need to match them up. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nursey. Our next three speakers, Craig Galanos, Alan Hall, Nolan English, please come forward. Mr. Galanos, you have 2 minutes.
Good afternoon. Craig Galanos, Atlanta Beautification Committee, a nonprofit remediating graffiti for the last year in Atlanta. I'm asking that you rewrite the laws regarding graffiti in the city of Atlanta to punish the perpetrators with a minimum of 1,000 hours of community service, remediating graffiti themselves, and not punish the property owners, as currently the only tool code enforcement has is to find the victims for not remediating the vandalism themselves. There are 3 major graffiti gangs operating in Atlanta. WKT, also known as Well-Known Thugs or We Crack Teeth, the UPS crew and the UTL crew, Up Too Late or United Through Loyalty, of which there are only about 30 members, causing the majority of the $1 million in felony vandalism. I've spoken with Crime Stoppers, and they're willing to help with the reward for the arrest and conviction of the Dirty 30. At $5,000 per vandal, I'm asking you fund the $150,000 to make the perpetrators pay for the vandalism they have caused. The fact is, Georgia DOT, ATL DOT, MARTA, Georgia Power, CSX, Norfolk Southern, city, county, state, federal, commercial, and private property in Atlanta is defaced and vandalized regularly, and without a concerted effort to capture and punish these scufflaws, the city is condemned to succumbing to the fallacy that it is an unstoppable urban art. It is not art, urban or otherwise. It is graffiti, and it is a crime per OCGA 1715A2 that can be reduced or eliminated with the prosecution of the Dirty 30. Additionally, I'm requesting $50,000 for cameras, monitoring by Flock, Titan portable paint sprayers, accessory supplies, paint and electric maintenance cart, volunteer support supplies. I had GPT rewrite the Norcross City Ordinance for Atlanta and have already submitted that to the City Council President, the Safety Committee, and I've attached the same for each of you to consider. Thank you for your time. If anyone wants to talk to me, my contact information is on the sheet. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, Alan Hall, you have 2 minutes.
Thank you. My name is Alan Hall. I am a homeless survivor from the old Wheat Street homeless encampment. Today, I want everyone to know the reality of what caused Cornelia Taylor's death. The reality is it was not some guy driving a back loader that killed Cornelia Taylor. It was years of bad policy driving that back loader, years of neglect of city policy, driving a 5-ton back loader to sweep unhoused people out of sight. In reality, is the cause of Cornelia Taylor's death. It said policies that focus on getting people out of sight is not the solution, it's violence. Sweeps don't solve the problem of homelessness. They only serve to push people out of desirable or popular areas in the local community. Rather than connect people to housing and outreach services, sweeps are an attempt to make the problem of homelessness invisible. If taxpayers don't see people experiencing homelessness it is much easier to ignore their existence. Cornelius Taylor's death is a painful reminder of the necessity, the dire necessity, the dire need for Homeless First. Homeless First has been a proven, effective way of solving the problem with homelessness. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hall. Next speaker, Nolan English. You have 2 minutes.
First of all, thank you, Madam President, City Council members. I'm Nolan English, founder and CEO of Traveling Grace Ministries, a member of AME, St. Philip AME Church, and a leader in their homeless ministry. I too am a homelessness survivor, and I do support the proposal to rename that portion of Old Wheat Street Cornelius Taylor Street. I do so backed by some wraparound services and everything needed to help people transition from homelessness to self-sufficiency. I do this as I come before you knowing that this is morally simple and politically courageous. We as a city name and rename streets based on people that we refuse to forget. Martin Luther King, Joseph Lowry, Joseph Boone, Hosea Williams, Shirley Franklin. Let us not forget Cornelius Taylor as a city. This is a moment in time where we as a city get to say that we did not look away from this tragedy. And let this serve in the city that is ground zero for civil rights in this nation and in the world, that this particular situation serves, and this location serves as ground zero for our acknowledgement of homelessness and their right to citizenship and housing as well. As Pastor Flippin said, we are a beacon to the world. Let's not just clean up when MLK Day is coming. Let's not just clean up when the World Cup is coming. Let's acknowledge how truly dirty we are as a city as it relates to homelessness. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. English. Our next 3 speakers, Owusu Hodori, Catherine Leatherwood, and Dr. DeJuan Robinson. That will take us to our yielded time portion. Mr. Hodori, you have 2 minutes.
Good afternoon. My name is Owusu Hodori, representing District 1, and my request is to bring about a change in a street called Sloan Circle that has neither curb, gutter, pavement, or sidewalk. It's a city street, it's not a private street. And for that to exist 10 to 11 minutes from downtown Atlanta is neglect in my eyes. And so I would just like the City Council, Department of Transportation, to please look at that situation a lot more carefully and seriously, and don't give an anticipated date of 7 to 10 years just to deal with the situation when our taxes are continually going up every year. So I want to thank you for this opportunity, and I look forward to meeting with our councilpersons so that we can get into this matter more directly. I'm in Georgia by way of Los Angeles County, where there are more people in the county than there are in the whole state of Georgia. However, it was easier to meet my councilperson there than it is in the state of Georgia.
Thank you. Catherine Leatherwood.
Okay. My name is Kat Leatherwood, and I'm a resident of Atlanta. I was inspired by the pastor's words today, especially one particular part. There was talk about eyes looking upward as others stand on weary ground. But I want to remind y'all, the ground isn't weary because of evil forces. It's not because of their own failing or just because that happens. It's weary because we, the citizens of Atlanta and our representatives, have failed them as we look more towards big sporting events than our fellow neighbors who are suffering. We do not have a lack of affordable housing. We have a lack of will to do the right thing. We allow corporations to overcharge, we allow them to underpay on taxes, and we allow the wages to be too low, and we give leeway to the police who enforce that inequality. A lot of Dr. King quotes get thrown around, especially this time of year, but here's my favorite. The evils of capitalism are as real as the evils of militarism and racism. The problems of racial injustice and economic injustice cannot be solved without a radical redistribution of political and economic power. Cornelius Taylor was murdered by city policy. Let's make the street name change official so we don't forget. Follow through on the promises to provide wraparound services to our unhoused residents. Stop the sweeps until you have apartments for these folks, because we know they're there. So let's make it happen. Thank you.
Thank you. That brings us to our yielded time portion. And because the first speaker has 10 minutes, no need for everyone to come forward, but the next two speakers after Dr. DeJuan Robinson will be Tommy Robbins and Nathaniel Dyer. Dr. Robinson, your yielded time was from Raymond Brownlee, Brendan Coulter, Carter Wilson, and Daria Hampton. Are you four here? Thank you.
Madam President, before we start, I urge you to reconsider that, because as you know, when you guys have long proclamations, if someone come in at 12 o'clock.
Not anymore.
That's what I'm saying. If someone come in at 12 o'clock.
And we meet afterwards? Today, this is what's happening. And you have 10 minutes. Yes, for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
For 10 minutes. And I'm always available. So.
But the clerk's office should respect and support, because they.
Can we start the clock?
They
please?
clarify. I don't mind it, but they clarify the people that are yielding time. So if we don't trust the clerk employees of the city, then this process is all flawed in the beginning, but it's okay. Let me start out by saying congratulations to our new city attorney. Congratulations, Mr. Wayne Martin. Congratulations, Mr. Worthy. And congratulations, Ms. Bunn. As we all know, Wheat Street, let me start off by saying we all know Wheat Street has a prestigious history with Mr. Borders, I think, who preached from 1937 to 1988. Now, we know we're not going to change the name for that, but let's give some consideration with the name on top like we do everybody else for Mr. Cornelius Taylor. I'm one who shake hands and feed the homeless while they're alive, not when they die. So I stand in unity with the family, but we know we're not going to change that because of the history of civil rights. Now, I understand that. As a born Atlanta native son, let's make some type of accommodations for that. Also, of course, I was touched yesterday as I was mandated to go to the King March since a kid. I think oftentimes we forget that MLK was a native, and we speak about him so loosely, but we don't share those same sentiments. Some of y'all go down to Ebenezer, take pictures, and do what you do and leave. Man, we always talk about graded babies in Atlanta, but we don't stay to the end of the march. That means so much when you say you love Atlanta, but you don't go down there and represent. Back then, when King was fighting, he was fighting against real racism. You could have died the day you left out the house to fight against the evil that he stood up against. And we don't give a damn, and we speak of it so loosely. And one thing that, I'm saying there's a couple of things that don't sit right with me, and one is that, Council President, some of the things that have been done, if there was a white man upon these people, we'd have been an outrage. I don't like the fact that we have Dustin Hillis over utilities when we know that he don't have a history of standing and working with black folks. We got city employees at the airport, and when you put someone over utilities, they should have a heart for city employees because that's what you deal with the most, and I don't like it. I've extended the olive branch for almost a year trying to get people to do right, but we just not gonna do right. So I feel it's upon me to come down here and, like they say on social media, put belt to ass, because that's what gotta go on in order to get Atlanta right. Ms. Bond, Mr. Worthy, we have a true history in Atlanta where blacks and white have had a history of working together, and we have a lot of forces that keep us separate. I hope you are down here to serve, because Atlanta is better when white and black work together, not divisiveness, not playing politics. And I don't mind coming down having to speak on it whenever chance I get, because this city works better when we work together, not divided, when we work together. These maintenance workers are here today because the city told them that they would get $4.50 back in July. However, not everybody got the $4.50. For those who have been on transportation, Mr. Juan, Mr. Amos, Councilman Lewis, you know that you have heard the word Chris Jackman so many times. And I don't understand why when the airport come down here, you guys are afraid to ask them the real tough questions. These people are saying no, and they're not scared of retaliation. We know they're gonna be retaliated upon. It was 77 people supposed to come today. Some was fearful of their jobs. And we just act like the airport is above reproach, and I don't understand that. Councilman Lewis, your favorite quote is unbossed and unbought. Hosea Williams, one of the truest black statesmen of Atlanta. I remember when I sat with him, he told me, hey man, Andy Young, one of my best friends. That's what he said, Councilman Boone. He said, I was there when he won, Mayor celebrating, but I told Andy, tomorrow I'll be chained on the front door of 55 Trenton with the poor folks in Atlanta, because it's a shame that we got black leadership and we got poor, hungry black folks in Atlanta. And he came and fought against his best friend the very next day. And Andy Young understood it because he understood the man that he was. And we gotta understand that, hey man, I can be with you, but I'm for the people too. And if you're for the people, you wouldn't have a problem with me standing for the people. And I'm saying that to say that we all see Atlanta drowning, man, with big corporations. If we just make the Arthur Blanks of the world pay their fair share, Ms. Mary Norwood, we don't have to raise taxes and do some of the things that we're doing. If we make the wealthy pay their fair share, it's a simple fix. And I wonder why we don't. See, I was fortunate enough to grow up with grandparents that was born in 1914. My grandmother used to tell me about you could only buy $20 worth of grocery right here in the West End, Mr. Wayne Martin, right there on Whitehall Street. If you were black, you could only buy $20 worth of grocery. But she worked for good white folks who would go up there and buy $60 worth of grocery, because my grandmother had 6 kids. So I didn't grow up saying white folks was evil and white folks this, that, and the third. I grew up believing that white and black could work together. But it takes the good human nature of good black folks and good white folks to work together, not sellouts. Real black folks. You think these people want to come down here and jeopardize their job, and we continue to be begging, man? That's the same thing that King died for in '68. So why city council, watershed, public works, why we not down there every year marching and standing down there all day long? This man died for, man. Like, we take so much for granted, man, because it feels good. A lot of us in here and outside that want to take pictures all the time and want to be famous. That ain't what this public service is about, man. Come on, man, we losing our way. And the only way we're gonna get there, that's being truthful, man. Like, that's being truthful. I don't like coming down having to call nobody out, man. But let's just be honest, man. If I'm not gonna do it, who gonna do it? Like, that's being truthful. And Madam President, I rode with you all the way to the end. And if the other person would have won, they probably would have exiled me out of this city, how hard I went for you. So I do expect more. I do. I know you love this city just like me, but there are certain moves that we gotta make that we have to understand. And I don't believe excluding black, but I damn sure don't believe I don't believe in excluding whites, but I damn sure don't believe excluding blacks. There's a thing called racial, not racist. Everybody is racial. Whites and Jewish, they want better for their people. Ain't nothing wrong with being black and want better for your people. Ain't that? I'm not saying you, I'm not saying in general. Okay. Nothing wrong with being black and want better for your people. We all should want that. We are a product of Atlanta Public School. But how we stand for letting them close 16 black schools when all y'all up here with the APS? I don't understand that. I'm being serious. I don't understand that. I went to Fredericksburg, I had a strong black principal in Dr. Samuel L. Hill. A strong black principal. Andrew Boone, you had him too. No, you had Dr. Butts. But we come from strong leadership. When Coretta Scott King had a chance to send her kids anywhere in Atlanta, her husband went to Washington High. She sent them to Frederick Douglass when she had a chance to send them anywhere in the city. That means something. We can't play with those schools' legacy for politics. We can't allow hospitals to be shut down when our governor saying that they have a $20 billion surplus and we shut down hospitals to build housing. Come on, man, that we know not affordable. Come on, man, what are we standing for, Mr. Martin? What are we standing for? I know you're a man of God, and I know that you are here to serve, and I'm gonna hold you to that because I believe in that. I believe in that. But these people down here, man, they took out, they paid for parking. They were told that their job's in jeopardy. They were told that they were gonna get the $450. Then they told them that you're not gonna get it because we're only gonna give to those who were here before COVID, but you gave it to new employees, post-COVID people, but you told the people that were in the, I don't know why we want to say internship, what is it called? Apprenticeship. We told the people that was in the apprenticeship that they're not gonna get the $450, and their boss told them, well, and they quoted and some recorded, but I wanna put them on Front Street, and I heard it. The boss told them, manage your money better. Now, somebody out there making $228,000 and $332,000 telling people that make 40 and 50 grand, manage your money better. Now, we're talking about 18 people that are missing this $4.50. I don't think that that is a lot of money when we're constantly hiring people out there in high roles making six figures, but you don't want to give the people that made $18 when CFO Bala already said that everybody was getting it. And you tell them to hell what the CFO say, if you go down there, your job is in jeopardy. We cannot have that, man. We have to stand for something in the home of Dr. Martin Luther King. I watched it all weekend, man. I used to mimic Little Boy King when I was growing up. Dude, I don't think we really understand how serious that was back then, man. You had to be so courageous, so dependent on God to know that if I go out here today, I'm not gonna be killed and shot for standing up for what I believe is right for my people. Like, come on, man, we gotta do better. And we gotta stand for something. We gotta look the face of these people every day and understand this was keeping the airport safe. If I don't have a walkie-talkie and the proper equipment, them planes don't go out. And they still don't have walkie-talkie thing to communicate on that runway.
Thank you, Dr. Robinson. Looking forward to sitting with you. Next speaker is Tommy Robbins. You have 4 minutes, and that means that Raymond Gates yielded time to you.
Good afternoon, Council, Madam President. Good to be before you all again as we were here 2 years ago, March 2024, asking for some of these same issues that are existing today. Even as we attempted to come down today, our leadership tried to divert us by saying that some of us didn't request time off or what have you before coming. What do they have to hide? Councilman Lewis, you were here when we came last time, all of you that were present. I don't have to call anyone out, but I would like to implore you from our seat, we're asking for resolution, fair treatment, and resources for the issues that were tabled in March 2024. Men and women cried before you. The Transportation Committee, men and women, they weren't lying. They cried before you. If you got a moment, take a look at that meeting, the meeting minutes. Men and women told stories of rape, abuse, just taken advantage of out there by our leadership, by leaders, managers that are still in place. Now, we've met with Mr. Smith, Ricky Smith. We've met with Christy Davis, trying to get some of these issues resolved. And to date, we have over 100 grievances filed by my team members who are present and not present that have not been touched. When we revisited that with the new administration, Mr. Smith and his team, information is being withheld from them by one person, we're assuming, and I won't name them, but they've been in place for 3 administrations. They are responsible for years of raises being withheld. The $450 that they're speaking of, the COVID money. You know, I ask, somebody need to shine a flashlight at night, in the daytime, to get resolved for what we're experiencing. We're crying out for help. Scheduling. They've changed scheduling now, and they're allowing tenured people resources to leave our ranks with holes in the leadership and the knowledge of the operations at the airport. Help. Can you do something to help us all? We're having to work. I mean, I work 18 days from, well, I don't need to go into details, but there are 3 people on my team. 1 works part-time. I'm an electrician, airfield electrician. My responsibility is the lights and signs. There are many issues that we have that are being neglected. As I said, we're understaffed. Every team is understaffed. You got favorites that are allowed and chosen to work overtime daily when, we're tired. I have a family, loved ones that I want to see and spend time with. You can't spend enough time with family. One quote from Dr. King that I want to leave you with, or begin closing with. The time is always right to do what is right. Secondly, we need leaders not in love with money, but in love with justice. Not in love with publicity, but in love with humanity. That's from Dr. Martin Luther King. I ask for you all to consider these comments in the presence of my team members and I to render aid. We need your help. Our leadership, and we are tagged with, and we're proud of, being the most efficient airport in the world, most efficient, great revenue, but they need to share the wealth, and we want to honor that from our seat. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Robbins. I'm sure that you'll be meeting with Councilmember Juan. Our next speaker is Daniel Dyer. You have 10 minutes. That time was yielded by Elijah Molino, Donovan Maddox, Demetrius Jackson, and Russell Williams. Is everyone still in attendance?
Okay, all right.
You have 10 minutes.
Okay.
Mr. Dyer?
Yes.
The clock is ticking.
Oh, okay, all right. All right, okay. Hello. First of all, I'd like to say that Miss Lolita Griffin, whatever you can do to make her whole, I definitely support that. She's gone through a whole lot, so that's first order of business. Secondly, I'd like to commend the gentleman over here, my brothers. They should come up. The World Cup is coming. Bump to $4. They should be given a serious pay increase. With the amount of money that's coming into this city, they should have time for their families, vacations, and everything. And if that doesn't happen, we need to revisit what's going on with your leadership. And I think that should be done anyway. What I passed out to you, well, I'm gonna start with your mayor. Yesterday, he talked about 5 rocks. And I say one is his head, okay? The other 4 include the rocks that he throws at senior citizens, legacy homeowners, families, and of course, black boys and girls in this city, okay? He touts top graduation rates in the city of Atlanta, but yet, he overlooks the fact that 34.9% of third graders are proficient in English language arts. 36% of the 8th graders proficient in math. Now, I know our children are more, capable than that, but how capable can you be when 16 schools are being closed on your watch? Mr. Juan, that's your name. Well, just disinterested. I'm just gonna break it down to what this represents. The World Cup is coming, but I coined it the Jim Crow World Cup of Atlanta. That's pretty much what it is. Global games, local displacement. And I'm gonna break it down.
Atlanta Public Schools in the last 20 years have closed 20+ schools. And you see, the mayor's office is complicit because there's Courtney English, who is a former board member. Then you have LaShondra Butler Burks, former school board member. There's a tie into the cheating scandal. And then, of course, school closures under Errol Davis. City Council, you all are complicit as well. There's Byron Amos, former school board member. There's Matt Westmoreland. And then, of course, Ishay Collins. 3 people, former school board members, but yet 34.9% proficiency reading, 36% 8th graders in math. But yet, you all sit idly by and say nothing about 16 schools being closed. Trillions of dollars of development are going into a hole by the stadium. But yet, APS wants to say that 16 schools is going to save them $25 million annually. $25 million annually, but trillions in a hole. You have structures that look like Dubai. I coin it the Dubai of the South. And when you have the Dubai of the South, you don't want any semblance of a black community around. That's why they attack the black schools. It's historic. Olympics, Techwell Homes, we can go on and on. The Jim Crow of the South is what you all are leading. Now, whether you know anything about history, racism, or not, when you have black boys and girls and their schools are being closed, and you want them merged together, when really you should be expanding educational opportunities. If the reading proficiency is low and the math, they're not up to par in math. But here's the thing that really brings my point home. That was in December when they voted 16 school closures. You know what they did this past month? Extended the contract for Atlanta Neighborhood Charters for 5 years, which is 61% white, predominantly white school. Within 30 days, yeah, your good buddy, Dr. Johnson, all the way from Tennessee, had not been in education for the last 3 to 4 years. But he comes here and overnight proposes to close 16 schools. Now, what is his knowledge base? What does that look like? So it had to come from the big boys. You know, Webstar, CIM Group, Arthur Blank. Now, I'll do a little side note on that, you know. He's really agitating his base, which, you know, has a large proportion of black, ticket holders, by bringing the Kevin Stefanski in. Now, what more can you expect from him when he's not paying his fair share in taxes and the schools that are being closed are around his stadium? Jim Crow of the South. And this is to the World Cup committee. They need to really pay attention to how you all handle business, how you all allow racist actions to take over, you know, good common sense. Prime example, these gentlemen should really be like in for a windfall of economic empowerment. But they got to come down here and, you know, you all are on the world stage. And, you know, do believe, now I did file an injunction. I'm not a whole bunch of time. I filed an injunction. And that's what I need to go into now, since I have a little more time. I'll give you the introduction. Well, verified action for declaratory and injunctive relief seeking to enjoin unlawful and discriminatory school closures. Hello, World Cup committee, so you can hear this, what's going on in Atlanta. This action seeks declaratory and injunctive relief to halt implementation of the Facilities Plan 2040 and related actions undertaken by the Atlanta Independent School System, of course doing business at Atlanta Public Schools, that perpetuate racial segregation, displace black students and students with disabilities, and align school facility decisions with redevelopment priorities rather than educational necessity.
Thanks.
For more than 2 decades, AISS has engaged in a recurring pattern closing, merging, and repurposing neighborhood schools located in predominantly black communities, particularly those experiencing or targeted for gentrification. while preserving, expanding, or financially supporting schools and charter programs serving predominantly white or non-neighborhood populations. These actions violate the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment, Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, and the Individuals with Disabilities Education of IDA. And then there are probably more. But the cameras are on us. This is our time as a community to stand up and rise up. You know what happened to Cornelius Taylor? What's happening to my brothers over there working? What's happening to our children in this city? It's unacceptable. And I'd be damned if you're gonna run over our beautiful black boys and girls for business, big business, who really could care less about you all too. I'm gonna peek into the future. In about a year and a half or two, you all are gonna be asking for another raise because you're not gonna be able to afford to live here. The Dubai of the South. So it's best to dig in deep now. Look out for our young, beautiful boys and girls, not for all children, but it's the black boys and girls in this city who are constantly under attack. Always. They cannot get a break. Then our communities, black communities can't get a break either. You move, we move to another location, here comes development, here comes the cranes. Displaced again. You move here. So it's a repetitive cycle, and that's what Jim Crow does. Know and learn your history. It's not in the best interest of black communities to be stable and successful. Prime example, these gentlemen have families, have children. You cut down the quality of life when you mess with the heads. Psychological warfare. Now, this is just the beginning. The World Cup is coming, you're on the clock. I'm really not talking to you all. I'm talking to the World Cup committee, the guys who really make the decisions, who hand it down to you all. But you all are on notice. Do right. Now, when you scan this, it'll take you straight to the injunction. Now, it's pretty airtight, I will say so myself, but I know how games are played in this city, okay? Solutions. We need some community benefits agreements. We need tax breaks for legacy residents and seniors. And then if those schools are a problem, redraw the lines.
Thank you, Mr. Dyer. Our last commenter of the day is Darian Fowler. You have 4 minutes. And Mr. Fowler was yielded time by Kenneth Jordan. Thank you.
Good afternoon, City Council. First, I would like to thank you all for allowing us to have a voice and come down here and speak with you all. I would also like to thank Mr. Dewan Robinson for having enough courage to come down and speak on our behalf on more than one occasion. My name is Darian Fowler. I would have been employed with the City of Atlanta Department of Aviation 4 years this coming March. I started with the city as a regular Mechanic One employee. About a year into my tenure with the city, a year of my employment time with the city, I was offered an opportunity to learn a trade, whether it be HVAC, welding, or electrician. I chose the electrician trade as it seemed like an opportunity that I could not pass up. It was not disclosed to me that if I was to choose to be a part of this trade, that I would have limited financial advancement offered to me. And just to piggyback off what Mr. Dewan Robinson was saying, we were threatened that if we did come down here, there would be disciplinary action. As well as he spoke on earlier, the 450, that we also around the same time, 2 years ago, we came down here with our constituents, our fellow co-workers, and we rallied for that 450 as well as they did. And we did not receive that 450. The day that it was implemented, July the 7th, I believe, we were told that we were no longer under the pay grade that would be considered for that 450. And our actual title changed in Oracle that day. Up until that point, we were considered Mechanic One / apprentice for up to a year. But as soon as the raise of the 450s was implemented, we were told we were no longer under the same financial umbrella. But keep in mind, we're asked to perform out the same duties and tasks as regular Mechanic Ones and other Atlanta employees that work with the Department of Aviation. At the beginning of the program, we were still cutting grass, hedges, picking up fall, cleaning out attic areas. The program that was due to the fact that we're electricians, it should have taken approximately maybe 3 to 4 years to become a journeyman electrician. due to no fault of our own, based the fact that we haven't been able to go to class or anything of that nature. A program that was due to take 3 to 4 years may now take 6 to 7 years to complete. Meantime, we're being asked to work for a hourly wage that is not livable at all. And like I said, I was with the city a whole year before the program was even implemented, and I was overlooked for that $4.50 raise. And I'm pretty sure I can speak on behalf of myself as well as my constituents. We're living on a shoestring budget, but being asked to perform extraneous work and carry out duties that's not even in our job title. So not only are we tasked with completing electrician work, we're also being tasked with completing mechanic 1 work as well. Just as an example, this past winter event, I was asked myself to join and get into a snowplow and go out onto the airfield and practice learning how to drive a heavy vehicle, snowplow, and that's not even in my job description. So what that translates to me as, you're not the same when it comes to the umbrella that you're placed on as far as your job classification or your hourly rate. But when we need someone to fill in and cover where we're short, we'll call and utilize you then. And I have a saying, I want to be useful. I don't mind being useful, but I do not want to be misused. And since the inception of this program, that's all I felt, is that I've been misused. You're using me to cover up Band-Aids, to throw me into a situation where I'm not even familiar. I've never driven a snowplow, but you're asking me to put myself in a position where I could possibly put my job at jeopardy, and I'm not even making the same as my counterpart, a person that literally just came to the city and they're making more money than me, and I've been there for 4 years. So I'm only here to solely talk about the 450. I'm a resident of Atlanta. I've been in Atlanta my whole life. I graduated from Booker T. Washington. I was born in Georgia Baptist, which is no longer here. But we have an opportunity with this program to really show the world on a grand stage what we're capable of as a city. You know, we have all these openings in these trade positions. And to me, it was an opportunity to take that trade and make something myself and be an asset to the city. And that's all I would like to say. Please consider, and thank you all for hearing us.
Fowler. Thank you. Thank you all so much for coming. I really do appreciate you coming to give your public comment, but for you all coming, a lot of times we may not know what is happening. And so just know that we are a resource to you, and you will be able to contact any of the council members as well as myself to further the discussion. And with that, that takes us to the report of the journal.
New sheriff in town.
Good afternoon, Madam President and members of council. I, Corinne Lindo, Municipal Clerk of the City of Atlanta, do hereby certify that the minutes of the regular meeting held on Monday, January 5th, 2026 are true and correct.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I will entertain a motion to adopt the journal, the report of the journal, moved by Councilmember Lewis, second by Dustin Hillis. We have a motion and second. We can do this by unanimous consent. Without any objection, does anybody have an objection to doing this by unanimous consent? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, please sound the count on the motion to adopt the journal.
13 yeas, 0 nays.
13 yeas, 0 nays. Next, we'll move on to communications. Madam Clerk.
First item, Madam President, is 26C5004. This is a communication from Councilmember Antonia Lewis, District 12, appointing Ms. Corrine Dent to serve as a member of the Joyce Smith Legacy Commission. Staff recommendation to refer to Community Development Human Services Committee and Committee on Council.
Let it follow that course.
Item number 2 is 26C5005. This is a communication from Councilmember Byron D. Amos, District 3, appointing Ms. Latonia Gates to serve as a member of the Atlanta Commission on Women. This appointment is for a term of 2 years. Staff recommendation to refer to Committee on Council.
Thank you. Let it follow that course.
Item number 3 is 26C5006. This is a communication from Mayor Andre Dickens appointing Ms. Marquetta Bryan, Esquire, to serve as the city attorney for the City of Atlanta. Staff recommendation to refer to Public Safety and Legal Administration Committee and Committee on Council.
Thank you. Let it follow that course.
Item number 4 is 26C 5007. This is a communication from Donald T. Panovi, CPA, the Chair Audit Committee, submitting the performance audit report, cybersecurity. Staff recommendation to refer to Finance Executive Committee.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Let it follow that course.
The last item, Madam President, is it's number 5, 26C 5008. This is a communication from Municipal Clerk Karene Lindo submitting a report of administrative corrections made to previously adopted legislation between the regular council meeting dates of January 5th, 2026 and January 20th, 2026 to the Atlanta City Council in accordance with Section 2-275 of the Atlanta City Code of Ordinances. We're going to correct 25R 3600 and 25R 3601. Staff recommendation to accept and file.
I will entertain a motion to accept and file this item. So moved by Hillis. Is there a second? Second by Juan. Madam Clerk, please open the vote.
The vote is open. Will everyone please vote? The vote is closed. 13 yeas, 0 nays.
13 yeas, 0 nays. We are to consideration of veto legislation.
Yes, Madam Chair, there are none.
There are none. What about unfinished business?
We have no unfinished business.
This brings us to the consent agenda. We are now at the consent agenda, section 1. These are items that will receive unanimous votes out of committees. Are there any items to be removed from consent agenda, section 1? Councilmember Juan?
Thank you. On page 10, item number 24, it's 26R 3095. Again, page 10, item 24, 26R 3095.
Okay, we will remove item 26-0.
Madam Chair, hold on a second. I'm getting conflicting information now.
Okay.
Hold on.
On both of them? Okay. Okay, Councilmember Hillis?
I'd like to pull 26-0-1000 off of consent, item number 1 on page 4, please, for a substitute.
Page 1, item number 1.
Item number 1 on page 4.
And that, what is the EMS number? I mean, the
26-0-1000.
26-0-1000. Got it.
I got it.
Okay. Councilmember
All right,
Juan?
Madam President, my apologies. It's actually page 9, item 22, which is 26R 3093. Again, page 9, item 22, 26R 3093.
3093. Okay. I originally had 3095. 93. Got it. All right. With that, I'll entertain a motion to adopt consent agenda section 1 with those items removed. Moved by Hillis, second by Juan. We have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, please open the vote.
The vote is open. Will everyone please vote? The vote is closed. 13 yeas, 0 nays.
13 yeas, 0 nays. Consent agenda 1 has been adopted. And with that, we're now on to consent agenda 2, section 2. These are the items that were introduced for first reads in committees and are to be referred back. Are there any items to be removed from consent agenda section 2? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to refer all items on consent agenda section 2. So moved by Councilmember Norwood, second by Juan. Madam Clerk, please prepare the vote.
The vote is open. Will everyone please vote? Councilmember Collins, what is your vote? 12 yeas, 0 nays.
12 yeas, 0 nay. Consent agenda section 2 items are being referred back to committees. And with that, we are moving to our standing committees. First up, Chair Winston with our Finance Exec Committee.
Thank you, Madam President. We have no report.
Wow, excellent, excellent. And we will move on down then to the Committee on Council. That's Chair Byron Amos.
Good afternoon, Madam President. Yes, we have 2 items on the report. Communications 26-C-5002, a communication from Mayor Andre Dickens appointing Mrs. Maya Hodori to serve as a member of the Housing Commission. This appointment is for a term of 3 years. This item comes before the body favorable recommendation from the Committee on Council and CDHS. Accordingly, this recommendation is for adoption.
The motion is to adopt 26-C-5002. This is coming out of committee. And for that reason, it does not need a second. Madam Clerk, open the vote.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 12 yeas, 0 nays.
12 yeas, 0 nays. That item is adopted.
Thank you. Next item is 26-R-3005, a resolution by Finance Executive Committee appointing Ms. Charnel S. Bostic to the governing board of the Office of Inspector General as the representative of the Atlanta Planning Advisory Board for a term of 3 years, said term to commence upon approval of the resolution and for other purposes. This item coming forward this body with favorable recommendation from Committee on Council and Finance Executive Committee accordingly, and it is for adoption as well.
The motion is to adopt 26-R-3005. It does not need a second. Madam Clerk, please prepare the vote.
The vote is open. Will everyone please vote? The vote is closed. 14 yeas, 0 nays.
14 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you, Madam President.
Item is
Here's my
adopted.
report. Sorry. And that's my report.
Thank you, Chair Amos. Moving on to our Zoning Committee, Chair Mary Norwood.
We have no report.
Wow. Well, okay. No zoning report. So with that, thank you.
It was because it was the end of the term, and so all of the items, whether for first read or second read, go to the Zoning Review Board.
Understood. Moving on to Public Safety Legal Administration, Chair Andrea L. Boone.
Thank you, Madam President. We do not have a report today.
Excellent. Okay. And so we're moving on to City Utilities Committee, Chair Hillis.
Madam President, we do have a report today.
Excellent. That's good too.
We have one item, 26-0-1000, which is pulled off consent on item 1 on page 4. Have a substitute, but it does not change the caption. So an ordinance by Councilmember Antonio Lewis to amend Chapter 154, Article 2 of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances, so to add new definitions, including the department error, to expand eligible billing adjustments and credits, to revise the Commissioner's authority related to billing adjustments, to update procedures of the Water and Sewer Appeals Board, and for other purposes. I'll make a motion to bring forth a substitute.
I understand there is a substitute. Okay, I will entertain a motion to bring forth the substitute. Motion by Hillis, second by Juan. Madam Clerk, please prepare to vote.
vote is open. Everyone, please vote. Councilmember Dozier, what is your vote? Councilmember Collins?
Yay.
Councilmember Westmoreland?
Aye.
The vote's closed. 14 yeas, 0 nays.
14 yeas, 0 nays. The substitute is before us. I will entertain a motion to adopt on substitute.
I'll make a motion
So
to adopt
moved by-
substituted.
So moved by Lewis, second by Bakhtiari with hand language. Madam Clerk, please prepare the vote.
One moment. The vote is open. Will everyone please vote? We'll correct it.
I'm not away. I'm right here.
We're having some issues with the vote is, one moment, please. It's 14 yeas, 0 nays.
14 yeas, 0 nays. The item is adopted as substituted.
Please, my
Anything
items.
else?
Thank you, Madam President.
Oh, thank you for that report. We're moving on to the next committee, and that would be CDHS. Councilmember Chair Westmoreland.
Thank you, Madam President. Thanks to Councilmember Juan. We also have a report. It's 26C5003 is a communication from Council President Overstreet appointing Alex Juan to serve as a member of the Pima Park Conservancy. His appointment is for a term of 4 years. The motion is to accept and file.
The motion is to accept and file. It was moved by Dozier, second by Bakhtiari. Madam Clerk, please prepare the vote.
The vote is open. Will everyone please vote? Fourteen yeas, 0 nays.
14 yeas, 0 nays. This item is accepted and filed. Congratulations, Councilmember Juan. Looking forward to your leadership on that conservancy. Is that it?
That concludes our report.
Thank you. And we are moving now to our last committee of the day. That's Transportation Committee. That's Chairman Juan.
Thank you, and I wouldn't have had a report, but it's my own fault, so third time's a charm. Item 26R3093 was pulled off consent. This is an amended resolution by Transportation Committee authorizing the mayor or his designee to execute an agreement for project number listed, Central Passenger Terminal Complex Restroom Enhancements, Phase 2 at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport with New South Synergy 2, a joint venture in an amount not to exceed $26,516,653.00. All services will be charged to and paid from account numbers listed herein and for other purposes. Motion from the committee was to approve. I'll make a substitute motion to file.
Substitute motion to file. I entertain a motion to, what, is there a substitute?
Yeah.
To
No,
file?
we're filing.
Okay.
A substitute motion to file.
Okay, well, in that case, I need a second. Motion by Juan, second by Bakhtiari. Please prepare the vote.
Councilmember Amos. Councilmember Amos.
The vote is open.
Wait.
Oh, there is a discussion. Sorry, I didn't see that. Councilmember Amos,
Yes.
you have the floor.
Thank you. Don't want to slow down the process. This is a contract that seems to have been awarded and got all the way to consent decree. Why are we pulling it and filing it without any substitute legislation?
Thank you, Mr. Amos. What I've been told by the administration is there was an issue with the procurement that we need to revisit. It will come back in another form. I'm waiting to get further briefed by this by the administration, which I'll share with the committee as we are able.
Thank you very much.
You all set? Okay, with that, we, now, Madam Clerk, we can prepare the vote. The original filer was Juan, second by Bakhtiari.
The vote is open. Will everyone please vote? The vote is closed. 14 yeas, 0 nays.
14 yeas, 0 nays. This item is adopted as substituted.
Thank you, Madam President. That concludes my report.
This item will be filed.
This item is filed. Thank you. So now that brings us to, goodness, are we at personal papers? Wow, well, we know how we do personal papers. No one has personal, oh, I don't have a list. We do have an immediate paper. Does everyone have a copy of the immediate paper already? So that you know what we're voting on? You have an immediate or a personal paper? Okay, I'm waiting on my list of what our papers are for sound in, so. That was so fast, we caught everybody off guard, so we're gonna give everybody a moment, a couple beats. So we're waiting on personal papers. Here there are none. Okay, so we don't have them before us yet. Should we just go to our general remarks at this time? You want to skip to that? Anyone have any general remarks? You just hit that speaker button. That's how we raise our hands.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. I would like to offer condolences to the family of Marvin Arrington Sr. The late Marvin Arrington lost his older sister, Yvonne Elaine Arrington, who was a native of Atlanta, an educator, a wonderful, wonderful spirit. So I would like to offer condolences to that entire family, the Marvin Arrington Sr. family. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Boone. Next speaker, Councilmember Lewis.
And I would like to offer condolences to the Bentley family. That's Mr. Dennis Bentley and Mrs. Bentley, who lost their mother this past weekend. And the repast will actually be held at Roselle Fan this Saturday. But condolences to the Bentley family, Kwane, Kwakita, Mr. Dennis, Frank, all the Bentleys on Jonesboro Road. Thank you again.
No, thank you. Next speaker is Councilmember Martin, Wayne Martin.
I want to say thank you to all of those that came to volunteer for our first District 11 Beloved Community Cleanup. We had over 130 volunteers to come and help us clean up several streets across District 11, and I'm grateful for that. Also, to those that came out yesterday for our King Day celebration in Cascade Springs Nature Preserve. We also had 150 volunteers to come and help clean up those properties and that great park and green space asset in our community. So thank you all again, and happy King Month to you all. That's what it feels like to me. Thank you, Madam President.
Excellent, Councilmember Martin, hailing from the fabulous District 11.
That's right.
Next speaker is Councilmember Liliana Bakhtiari.
Thank you, Madam President. Of course, wanting to hold up all those who have been mentioned, but I feel a sense of helplessness, which is why I'm asking for people today to keep my family in their prayers. My family is in Iran, and we have not been able to reach our members there since the power went out and the internet went out. So I just ask that people we have a lot of immigrant and refugees from Iran in this community and in my district, and I just hope that if I can ask for people to keep those folks in their prayers as well as my own family. Death toll is estimated to be over 20,000, so if people can just keep that in their thoughts, that would be much appreciated.
Absolutely. Councilmember Kelsey Bond.
I know most of the public commenters have left now, but I do want to say thank you to all the community members who came out today, especially the folks here in solidarity with Cornelius Taylor and his family. And just want you all to know that I stand in full solidarity with you in whatever way that the city can commemorate his memory. I think it's our full responsibility to do that, seeing as how it is the city's fault that he has died. So thank you all for being here today.
And with that being said, I do think that we do have at least 30 seconds where we can have a moment of silence for those that we spoke about, from Councilmember Boone to Councilmember Lewis, everyone, a moment of silence for Iran as Councilmember Bakhtiari spoke. Okay, thank you. With that, we are back to personal papers, and we are at two immediates. Oops, who's there?
It's on this one. Well, actually, it's on this.
It's fine. Councilmember Hillis?
And Councilmember Overstreet. So this is paper, reason for immediate consideration. I've explained to the chairs in the chairs meeting is that is a resolution, ATL DOT and Law Department are in agreement with it. It's an MOU between Upper West Side CID and the city for the CID to take on the planting portion of a project, the Howell Mill Complete Streets project. And the reason for immediate is that the planting season will be coming upon us. So going the regular route would delay that. So this is Elms ID 39595, a resolution by Councilmember Dustin Hillis and Ishay Collins authorizing the mayor, his designee, to enter into a memorandum of understanding with the West Side Howell Mill Community Improvement District, doing business as Upper West Side CID to maintain Howell Mill Road medians landscaping and for other purposes. Whereas Article 9, Section 7 of the 1983 Constitution of the State of Georgia authorizes municipalities to create community improvement districts and pursuant to the Atlanta Community Improvement District Act enacted by the Georgia General Assembly as House Bill 5544, 1991, Georgia Laws 3653, the City of Atlanta created the West Side Howell Mill Community Improvements District pursuant to the constitutional and statutory authority cited herein. And whereas Resolution 16R3715 adopted by City Council on July 5, 2016 and approved by the Mayor on July 6, 2016 authorized the CID to provide such services as the construction and maintenance of local collector and arterial streets as shown on the city's street classification map, whereas otherwise included in the city's most recently adopted comprehensive development plan, including curbs, sidewalks, street lights, and devices to control the flow of traffic on local collector and arterial streets, and whereas CID works in conjunction with the City of Atlanta to enhance the city's public right-of-way to improve safety, accessibility, pedestrian mobility, and vibrancy within the CID boundary, whereas Howell Mill Road medians are located within the CID boundary, and whereas the Department of Transportation shall continue to maintain ownership of the public right-of-way, including infrastructure maintenance, litter control, and utility commitments, whereas the city's contractor for the ongoing Howell Mill Complete Streets project has installed 7 of the project's included medians, but would otherwise hold off on landscaping those 7 medians until the Howell Mill Complete Streets project is completed. And whereas CID wishes to facilitate the city's immediate installation of the landscaping for the 7 medians that are currently constructed, and whereas CID desires to provide maintenance and warranty of plant material in the 7 existing Howell Mill Road medians during the period beginning immediately following the city's acceptance of its contractors, soils, and plants installation in the 7 medians, and whereas the MOU will commence as the effective date and shall continue in effect until 1 year after the completion of the Howell Mill Complete Streets project, unless earlier terminated by either party. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Atlanta, Georgia, that the mayor or his designee is authorized to execute an MOU with the CID regarding the roles and obligations of each of the 2 parties in the installation and maintenance of the 7 existing Howell Mill Road medians. Be it further resolved that the city attorney is hereby directed to negotiate, prepare, and review an appropriate MOU for execution by the mayor and the CID that will be substantially similar to the MOU attached hereto as Exhibit A. Be it finally resolved that the MOU will not become binding upon the city, and the city will incur no obligation or liability under it until the MOU is approved by the city attorney as to form executed by the mayor, attested to by the municipal clerk, and delivered to the CID. A motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve by Councilmember Hillis and second by Juan. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, Madam Clerk, please prepare the vote.
The vote is open. Will everyone please vote? Councilmember Collins, what is your vote? Councilmember Westmoreland? 14 yeas, 0 nays.
14 yeas, 0 nay. This immediate consideration was adopted.
Councilmember Vaughn is here.
14 yeas, 0 nays.
14 yeas, 0 nays. It includes Bond.
And I will make a motion to send to the mayor's office post haste.
Motion to send post haste by Hillis, second by Bakhtiari. Please prepare the vote, or this can be done by consent, by unanimous consent.
Yes.
Madam Clerk, any discussion on that? Madam Clerk, please prepare, sound the count for
14
immediate
yeas,
consent.
0 nays.
14 yeas, 0 nays. This item is sent to the mayor's office post haste. Thank you. We have another paper for immediate considerations. Councilmember Liliana Bakhtiari.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. If I may, before reading this in, for those who may have seen, this past week, there was discussion because Fulton County had pledged around $2.4 million this year for wraparound services for units that were coming online that the city of Atlanta put millions into doing. For those who are unaware, we do not have a Health and Human Services Department. We are preempted. That is done by Fulton County, but I do want to applaud this council and this administration for continuing to carry the water. Really glad that Fulton County has decided to come to the table and give about 1.8 million this year, 2 million, about 2.4, 3.4 or change next year, which I want to remind people is great, but also less than 1% of Fulton County's budget. Hoping moving forward as we work together that the county will act in good faith and set aside 2% of their budget, of their $1 billion budget, to set aside $20 million a year for helping abate homelessness in a way that is compassionate and following suit with the city. So excited to work with them on that, excited that we've gotten the fundings for this year and next, and looking forward to ensuring that that is a long-term commitment. That being said, a resolution by Councilmember Liliana Bakhtiari, Council Members Winston, Bond, Amos, Dozier, Juan, Worthy, Hillis, Boone, Martin, Lewis, Bond, and Westmoreland, and Collins.
Overstreet.
And Overstreet. Urging the Fulton County Board of Commissioners to fully fund FY26 and 27 supportive services for Home First Permanent Supportive Housing, recognizing chronic homelessness as a continuing public health crisis requiring immediate and coordinated action and for other purposes. Whereas chronic homelessness constitutes an ongoing public health crisis associated with increased mortality, untreated physical and behavioral health conditions, strain on emergency medical systems, and disproportionate impacts on the individuals with disabling conditions. And addressing homelessness requires timely and coordinated action across jurisdictions, and disruptions in housing stability or supportive services carry immediate and measurable consequences for both housed residents and the broader community. And in 2019, the Fulton County Board of Commissioners unanimously committed to providing ongoing funding for supportive services as part of the Home First Initiative, a public-private partnership launched by the City of Atlanta, Invest Atlanta, and Partners for Home to end chronic homelessness through permanent supportive housing paired with services. And whereas permanent supportive housing is a nationally recognized evidence-based intervention for addressing chronic homelessness, but only functions as intended when paired with consistent, adequately funded supportive services that sustain housing stability and positive public health outcomes. Through the Home First Initiative, more than $322 million in public and private capital has been leveraged. Approximately 300 individuals are currently stably housed and receiving services, and more than 200 additional PSH units are scheduled to come online in 2026, representing one of the largest coordinated PSH pipelines in the region. These developments were advanced in good faith reliance on Fulton County's 2019 commitment to fund supportive services, a commitment that underpins financing agreements, construction timelines, service staffing, and long-term operating plans for dozens of developments already completed or underway. Partners for Home has identified approximately 2.01 million gap in supportive services funding for FY26, which, if left unaddressed, threatens housing stability for residents scheduled to be served next year and risks interrupting care for individuals with the highest public health needs. And whereas the Atlanta City Council in Fulton County was advised, the Atlanta City Council was advised January 19th that Fulton County Board of Commissioners' final FY26 budget recommendation will include an incremental $2.1 million investment for permanent supportive housing wraparound services. I'm so sorry, this is so long. Failure to fully fund supportive services would not merely slow progress, but would actively destabilize residents, undermine substantial public investments, increase reliance on emergency systems. Whereas the City of Atlanta has a direct, compelling interest in the community continuity of Home First services, as PSH developments are located within city neighborhoods, and their success directly affects public health, public safety, and neighborhood stability. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Atlanta, Georgia, that the Atlanta City Council recognizes chronic homelessness as an ongoing public health crisis and demands immediate, sustained, and coordinated investment in evidence-based solutions. Be it further resolved that the City Council of the City of Atlanta urges Fulton County Board of Commissioners to honor their January 19th commitment to fund supportive services for all Home First permanent supportive housing units in the FY26 budget, including closing the identified funding gap for units scheduled to come online. And be it further resolved that the City of Atlanta, the City Council of the City of Atlanta strongly urges the Fulton County Board of Commissioners to continue to fully fund supportive services in the FY27 budget for all existing Home First permanent supportive housing units and additional units scheduled to come online in FY27. Be it finally resolved that the municipal clerk of the City of Atlanta is directed to transmit a copy of this resolution to the chairman and members of the Fulton County Board of Commissioners, the Fulton County Manager, and Partners for Home.
I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Bakhtiari, second by Bond. Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please. Oh, wow, which Bond? Michael Julian Bond.
MJB. Didn't realize my mic was on.
The vote is open.
Yeah.
Madam Chair, as we're taking a vote, I also want to take a moment to thank Councilmember Dozier for hosting the press conference in his district, so thank you.
Not doing vote.
Will everyone please vote? Will everyone please vote? The vote's closed. 14 yeas, 0 nays.
14 yeas, 0 nays. This item is approved.
Motion to send to the mayor's office post haste.
Motion to send to the mayor's office post haste, moved by Bakhtiari, second by Martin. And can we do this by unanimous consent? Madam Clerk, please sound the number for unanimous consent.
14 yeas, 0 nays.
14 yeas, 0 nays. This item is sent to the mayor's office post haste. Council members, I will tell you all that I have received notice that we do not have to read all of our immediate considerations in its entirety. However, we've not worked out exactly what that looks like, but we're working on that. So that might be your last time hearing in its entirety the entire council piece of legislation. And with that being said, Madam Clerk. Oh, absolutely. We've done our general comment. You know, as a matter of fact, I need to recognize you. We have been joined by Councilmember Michael Julian Bond, and you do have the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. I have a question about that because I can understand not reading in a resolution, but according to the charter, the ordinances have to be sound and read and well, I guess it would only be resolution. A resolution would have to be thoroughly read for the benefit of the public.
I hear you.
So what would be the explanation for not reading the entire piece of legislation?
Because it's an electronic document that is already public, and we will make sure that all items are seen by everyone, including us and the public. So it will be a matter of record when read. Not that we won't read any portion of it, but we will read a portion of it, not the entire piece of legislation. Again, we're still working through that. Let's communicate later about it when we're ready.
Because I would have a concern about that.
Well, the people that can help you are sitting right behind you.
Well, no, I'm talking about if this is going to be something that you opine and rule, yeah, I'd like to speak with you and the law department
I'm
about
happy
it
to.
because it becomes an issue of notice to the public. And
Correct.
not every person who lives in the city has a computer, that every person who is online or even has cable to be noticed. And so I just have concerns about it.
Okay, and I'm still happy to speak about it. Again, we're not completely ready, but we are working on that because we do not have to read it in its entirety. For sure we
Well,
don't.
if that's what you're working on, that's debatable.
Correct, in
Right.
your thought. I understand what you're saying. Thank you. You yield? All done?
Sure.
Okay. With that, we are ready for our personal papers to be read in. Councilmember Juan, I still don't have the list, though.
Yeah, we don't.
Is there?
None of us do.
No list. Okay.
All right, can I go?
Yes, please.
All right.
Councilmember
Elms
Juan.
ID 39531, an ordinance by Councilmember Alex Juan authorizing the mayor or his designee on behalf of the city of Atlanta to execute all appropriate documents granting the Atlanta Botanical Garden, Inc., a Georgia nonprofit corporation, an access easement consisting of approximately 13,381 square feet over, through, and upon a portion of city-owned real property located at 1491 Piedmont Avenue Northeast, Atlanta, Georgia 30309. Fulton County, description and parcel number listed, also known as the West property, for the purpose of constructing, utilizing, and maintaining an access road, waiving any conflicting provisions of Article 10, Division 14, subsection 3 of the Atlanta City Code of Ordinances, and for other purposes.
Elms ID number 39531 should be referred to city utilities.
All right, Elms ID 39532, ordinance by Councilmember Alex Juan authorizing the mayor or his designee on behalf of the city of Atlanta to abandon a portion of a public street known as Westminster Drive Northeast, being more specifically depicted in the attached Exhibit A and lying and being in land lot 55 of the 17th District of Fulton County, Georgia, and for other purposes.
Elms ID number 39532 should be referred to transportation.
Elms 39554, an ordinance by Councilmember Alex Juan to donate $35,000.00 to the Brookwood Hills Community Club, Inc., pursuant to Section 6306 of the City of Atlanta's Charter as matching grant for sidewalk remediation in Brookwood Hills and for other purposes.
Elms ID number 39554 should be referred to FEC.
And then 39600, an ordinance by Councilmember Alex Juan to amend Ordinance 250-1260 to correct a clerical error in Section 2 regarding the effective date, so that the effective date shall be July 1st, 2026, and for other purposes.
Elms ID 39600 should be referred to Public Safety Legal Administration.
Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Councilmember Boone.
Elms ID number 39593, an ordinance by Councilmember Andrea Boone to amend Chapter 10, Article 2, Sections 1092B of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances so as to provide an exemption from the distance requirements listed in Section 10-881 for package stores licensed to sell malt beverages and or wine for an establishment located at 2312 Benjamin E. Mays Drive, Southwest Atlanta, Georgia, 30311, and for other purposes.
Elms ID number 39593 should be referred to Public Safety Legal Administration.
Elms ID number 39557, an ordinance by Councilmember Michael Julian Bond to waive Chapter 2, Article Division 1, Section 2910, grant applications to retroactively rectify the City of Atlanta's submission on behalf of the Mayor's Office of Emergency Preparedness of an application for an award from the Atlanta Urban Area Security Initiative in an amount not to exceed $60,061.00 to be utilized for technology enhancements in 2 rooms adjacent to the City of Atlanta Joint Operations Center, to authorize the mayor or his designee to execute any necessary agreements to accept the award, to amend the fiscal year 2026 intergovernmental grant fund budget by adding to anticipations and appropriations an amount not to exceed $60,061.00, all funds to be charged to and paid from the fund and account numbers listed herein and for other purposes.
Elms ID 39557 should be referred to FEC. Thank you. Councilmember Worthy.
Thank you, Madam President. Elms ID 39558, an ordinance by Councilmember Thomas Worthy, an ordinance to amend Chapter 150, Traffic and Vehicles, Article 4, Stopping, Standing, and Parking, Division 3, Parking and Meters, Section 150-132 of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances to adopt a parking fee study and associated fees for on-street metered parking and for other purposes.
Items ID 39558 should be referred to transportation.
Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Councilmember Winston.
Thank you. First is Elms ID 39527, an ordinance by Councilmember Jason H. Winston to amend the chapter number listed personal Article 4 classification plan of the Code of Ordinances, City of Atlanta, Georgia, so as to provide for certain position abolishments, creations, reclassifications, class creations, above entry authorizations, employee position transfer, position funding allocation changes, and other personnel actions in line with the 2026 budget and for other purposes.
Items 39527 should be referred to finance exec.
Elms ID 39560, a resolution by Councilmember Jason H. Winston authorizing the Chief Financial Officer to refund customers for overpayments to water and sewer accounts in the amount of $141,056.12. All funds to be charged to and paid from the fund department organization and account number listed herein and for other purposes.
Items ID 39560 referred to finance exec.
Elms ID 39559, a resolution by Councilmember Jason Winston authorizing the Commissioner of the Department of Watershed Management to adjust water and sewer services charges on certain customer accounts in accordance with Atlanta City Code section number listed in the amount of $234,416.12 and for other purposes.
Items ID 39559 referred to finance exec.
Elms ID 39549, yes. An ordinance by Councilman Jason Winston to request the issuance by the Urban Residential Finance Authority of the City of Atlanta, Georgia, or of its taxable drawdown revenue bond housing opportunity program, Series 2026, in the aggregate principal amount not to exceed $154 million, and the authorization and pre-validation by the Finance Authority of the additional revenue bonds housing opportunity program, the takeout bonds in the aggregate principal amount not to exceed $158 million as long-term bonds to refinance the Series 2026 drawdown bond at maturity or earlier redemption for the purpose of assisting Atlanta Housing Authority, a Georgia nonprofit corporation and public body corporate, and politic in finance or refinancing on behalf of the city elements of the Housing Opportunity Program within the parameter established herein, to authorize the execution, delivery, and performance of a fourth amended and restated intergovernmental housing corporation agreement with the Housing Corporation, to authorize acknowledgement of service and the filing of an answer on behalf of the city in validation proceedings to be brought and validated in the Series 2026 drawdown bond, and pre-validating the takeout bonds to authorize the execution, delivery, and performance of a continuing covenant agreement in connection with the sale of the 2026 drawdown bond, and to authorize certain related actions, all in connection with the Housing Opportunity Program financed through the Finance Authority's issuance of the 2026 drawdown bond, and authorization and pre-validation of the takeout bonds and for other related purposes.
Items ID number 39549 should be referred to finance exec.
All right. Elms ID 39596, a resolution by Councilmember Jason Winston requesting the mayor or his designee to install no parking signs to restrict parking at 278 William Nye Drive Southeast and for other purposes.
Items ID 39596 referred to transportation.
Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilmember Winston. All right, Councilmember Wayne Martin.
All right. Madam President, Elms ID number 39556, a resolution by Councilmember Wayne Martin authorizing the mayor or his designee to execute special procurement agreement SP/PS/MOE P/2609-1260006 4/JOC upgrades with Atlanta's Soundworks LLC on behalf of the Mayor's Office of Emergency Preparedness pursuant to Section 2-1191.1 of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinance for a term of 1 year with 3 one-year renewal options in an amount not to exceed $485,583.00. All contracted work will be charged to and paid from the fund, department, organization, and account number listed herein and for other purposes.
Elms ID 39556, referred to Finance Exec.
Elms ID number 39530, an ordinance by Councilmember Wayne Martin authorizing the mayor or his designee on behalf of the Mayor's Office of International and Immigrant Affairs to retroactively ratify the submission of an application for and accept a grant award from the Criminal Justice Coordinating Council fiscal year 2026 State Victim Services Grant in an amount not to exceed $41,666.07 to support the victim service programs and provide direct services to victims of crimes, to authorize the execution of any grant agreements and related documents necessary to effectuate the grant, and to amend the FY26 budget by adding to anticipations and appropriations in an amount not to exceed $41,666.70. All funds to be charged to and paid from the fund accounts listed herein and for other purposes.
Elms ID 39530 should be referred to FEC.
Elms ID 39523, a resolution by Councilmember Wayne Martin, District 11, authorizing the mayor or his designee to execute renewal number 3 for sole source agreement SS-S-1220283 Pioneer Technology Benchmark Maintenance and Support with Catalyst Courts and Land Records, LLC, on behalf of the Municipal Court of Atlanta for a term of 1 year, effective January 25th, 2026 through January 24th, 2027, in an amount not to exceed $300,750.00. All funds shall be charged to and paid from the funding accounts listed herein and for other purposes.
Elms ID 39529 should be referred to Finance Exec.
Last but not least, Elms ID number 39529, an ordinance by Councilmember Wayne Martin on behalf of the Mayor's Office of International and Immigrant Affairs, waiving the requirements for section.
I shouted out the wrong one last time.
Okay. Let me go back.
What I should have said was Elms ID 39523 should be to Public Safety Legal Administration. Thank you.
Madam President.
Okay.
All right. And Elms ID 39529, an ordinance by Councilmember Wayne Martin on behalf of the Mayor's Office of International and Immigrant Affairs, waiving the requirements for section 2-910 of the Atlanta City Code to retroactively authorize and ratify the submission of a grant application and accept grant award from the Criminal Justice Coordinating Council fiscal year 2025 VOCA grant program continuation for the purposes of providing direct services to victims of crime in an amount not to exceed $82,840.00 to authorize the execution of any grant requirements and related documents necessary to effectuate the grant, to amend the FY26 budget by adding to anticipations and appropriations in an amount not to exceed $82,840.00. All funds to be charged to and paid from the accounts and listed herein and for other purposes.
Okay, 39529 should be referred to FEC.
Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. All right, Councilmember Amos.
Yes, Madam President. AMS 39599, a resolution by Councilmember Byron D. Amos to amend resolution number 22-R-3415 adopted by the Atlanta City Council on May 2nd, 2022, and approved by per city charter session 2-403 on May 11th, 2022, which established a short-term rental commission to promote awareness for the City of Atlanta short-term rental policy by modifying the membership of the commission and for other purposes.
39599 should be referred to CDHS.
AMS 39598. Ordinance by Councilmember Byron D. Amos to amend the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinance, Chapter 10, Housing and General Regulations to create the Office of Short-Term Rental within the Department of City Planning to establish a short-term rental registry to require platform verification and permitting and for other purposes.
39598 should be referred to CDHS.
Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. I have Councilmember Dozier.
Thank you, Madam President. Here to round out the last of the bald and beautiful caucus. My first item is Elms number 39498, an ordinance by Councilmember Jason Dozier to amend Chapter 10, Article 1, Section 10-8 of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances to create an exemption from the prohibition against persons of lawful age consuming alcoholic beverages in the streets, sidewalks, alleyways, parking areas, and other open areas operated and controlled by the City of Atlanta and a portion of South Downtown on portions of Broad Street, Martin Luther King Jr. Drive, Southwest, Forsyth Street, Mitchell Street, Ted Turner Drive Southwest, Nelson Street, Trinity Avenue, Peachtree Street, and Alabama Street Southwest to be defined as the South Downtown Entertainment District and for other purposes.
Elms ID 39498 should be referred to, looks like transportation? PSLA? It's alcohol code, okay. PSLA, it's fine.
Next item is Elms ID number 39546, an ordinance by Councilmember Jason Dozier to amend the land use planning section of the 2025 Plan A City of Atlanta Comprehensive Development Plan so as to redesignate property located at 0 People Street Southwest from the low-density residential development pattern designation to medium-density residential classification and for other purposes.
39546 to CDHS.
Then my last item is Elms number 39603, a resolution by Councilmember Jason Dozier affirming the Play Fair ATL policy platform for the 2026 FIFA World Cup and beyond, recognizing the importance of equity, transparency, and community benefits in mega event planning and for other purposes.
39498 should be referred to PSLA.
And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Bakhtiari.
Thank you. Elms ID 39545, an ordinance by Councilmember Liliana Bakhtiari to amend section 16-28.006 of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances for the purpose of revising the sidewalk repaving requirements in the Cabbagetown Landmark District and for other purposes.
39545, referred to zoning.
Elms ID 39547, an ordinance by Councilmember Liliana Bakhtiari to amend.
I said public safety legal administration. That's fine. Yeah, I'm sorry, yeah.
Elms ID 39547, an ordinance by Councilmember Liliana Bakhtiari to amend the land use planning section of the 2025 Plan A City of Atlanta Comprehensive Development Plan so as to designate various parcels having frontage on Sargent Avenue Southeast, Smith Street Southeast, Ford Street Southeast, Orange Blossom Terrace Southeast, Young Street Southeast, Again Drive Southeast, Boulder Street Southeast, Boulder Crest Drive Southeast, and Eastland Road Southeast to MLSF development pattern designation upon annexation into the corporate limits of the City of Atlanta from unincorporated DeKalb County and for other purposes.
Okay, 39547 to CDHS. What number was that one? CDHS. Maybe it should be dual refer. You know what, let's dual refer that. We'll do it to CDHS and zoning.
Elms ID 39550, an ordinance by Councilmember Liliana Bakhtiari to zone various parcels having frontage on Sargent Avenue Southeast, Smith Street Southeast, Ford Street Southeast, Orange Blossom Terrace Southeast, Young Street Southeast, Gin Drive Southeast, Boulder Crest Drive Southeast, and Eastland Road Southeast to the R4 zoning district upon annexation into the corporate limits of the City of Atlanta from unincorporated DeKalb County for other purposes.
Which one was that? See, you threw me off.
No. Elms ID 39551, an ordinance by Councilmember Liliana Bakhtiari to provide for the annexation of properties having frontage on Sargent Avenue, Smith Street, Ford Street, Orange Blossom Terrace, Young Street, Gin Drive, Boulder Crest Drive, and Eastland Road in unincorporated DeKalb County to the corporate boundaries of the City of Atlanta, Georgia, pursuant to the 60% method to extend the boundaries of the Atlanta Independent School System to notify the Georgia Department of Community Affairs of such annexation and for other purposes. 39551
should be referred to FEC. The one prior to that was 39550, should be referred to zoning.
Elms ID 39552, a resolution by Councilmember Liliana Bakhtiari requesting the mayor his designee to install traffic calming devices on Eastlake Drive between West Far Road and Memorial Drive Southeast in order to reduce speeding and for other purposes.
39552 should be referred to transportation.
Elms ID 39585, a resolution by Councilmember Liliana Bakhtiari requesting the mayor his designee to install traffic calming devices on Hardy Street Northeast between Hutchinson Street Northeast and Mason Avenue Northeast in order to reduce speeding and for other purposes.
39585 should be referred to transportation.
Elms ID number 39586, a resolution by Councilmember Bakhtiari urging the mayor, his designee, to adopt the full priority recommendation list of the Edgewood Corridor Public Safety Task Force to consider implementing the supplemental recommendations of the Edgewood Corridor Public Safety Task Force and for other purposes.
39586 referred to Public Safety Legal Administration.
Elms ID 39587, a resolution by Councilmember Liliana Bakhtiari to request that the mayor and the Atlanta City Council impose a 180-day moratorium on the acceptance of any new alcohol license applications in the Edgewood Corridor and for other purposes.
I don't see 39587 on here. Yeah, we're going to do PSLA. Let me write that down.
Sure.
39587, Bakhtiari,
That's the correct number, yes.
PSLA. Okay.
Elms ID 39588, a resolution by Councilmember Bakhtiari authorizing the mayor, his designee, to exercise the fourth renewal option for cooperative purchasing agreements CPS-1220222, citywide integrated security and video surveillance services with Convergent Technologies, GCE Systems Group, and NetPlanner Systems on behalf of the Department of Enterprise Asset Management and other departments listed herein, effective April 21st, 2026 through April 20th, 2027, contingent in an amount not to exceed $4,231,890.51, expressly contingent upon the renewal of the underlying state of Georgia contacts, A, B, and C, and the approval and adoption of the fiscal year 2027 budget. All contracted work will be charged to and paid from the fund, department, organization, and account numbers listed herein for other purposes.
39588 referred to Finance Exec.
Last piece, I promise. Elms ID 39589, an ordinance by Councilmember Bakhtiari to amend Part 3 of the Land Development Code, Part 16, Chapter 20C, Martin Luther King Jr. Landmark District, Section 16-20C, to amend prohibited uses and for other purposes.
39589 referred to zoning. I see now that the other one that I thought was 39587 is actually listed on here, probably is 39584. Is that correct? The one prior to that, the 395, I said 87. I thought she said 87.
39588.
No, before that one. Okay, I think on here, is that the Edgewood Corridor alcohol license? Okay, never, okay. Yeah, okay, so I think it's just listed wrong on this paper. Yeah, so that one's on here. Okay, so I think it's just listed wrong on this paper. Yeah, so that one's on here.
Facing requirement within sub-area 9, Adair Park, live, work, play of SPI 21 and for other purposes.
39605, I think, is for zoning.
Elms 39555, an ordinance by Councilmember Antonio Lewis to rezone 1089 Aline Avenue Southwest, 1078 Bigland Street Southwest, 1050 Murphy Avenue Southwest, and 0 Sylvan Road Southwest, and 1100 Sylvan Road Southwest from I1C BL Light Industrial Conditional Beltline Overlay to iMix BL Beltline Industrial Mixed Use Beltline Overlay to implement recommendations of the Beltline Sub-Area 2 Master Plan for Murphy Triangle and for other purposes.
39555 to zoning. Thank you. Councilmember Westmoreland. Are you the last one?
Hope so.
I think so. Okay.
Good afternoon, Madam President. I have two items. One doesn't have an ELMS number.
What is it for?
It's a resolution to expand the boundaries of the Airport West Community Improvement District as authorized by the Georgia General Assembly.
39594.
There we go. As authorized by the Georgia General Assembly of the State of Georgia in the Fulton County Community Improvement District Act and for other purposes.
39594 referred to CDHS.
Thank you. And the other one is ELMS ID 39601, sponsored by Council members Westmoreland, Winston, K. Bond, Amos, Dozier, Bakhtiari, Juan, Worthy, Hillis, Boone, Martin, Lewis, M.J. Bond, and Collins, authorizing the city of Atlanta to donate a total amount not to exceed $1 million to the Atlanta Regional Commission and Propel ATL pursuant to Section 6-306 of the City of Atlanta's Charter to support electric bike initiatives in the city of Atlanta, authorizing the mayor or his designee to enter into any necessary agreements to effectuate the donation, to authorize the chief financial officer or his designee to make all payments from the accounts listed herein and for other purposes.
3960 referred to CDHS.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it.
And I think that is all of them. I see Councilman Michael Julian Bond. Are you supposed to have your speaker button on? Did you want to speak?
Yes.
Okay, I recognize you.
Thank you. I want to make an announcement that the ATL Fresh and Free food distribution will be tomorrow, January 21st, 2026, at 2 p.m. at the Salem Bible Baptist Church, located at 2283 Baker Road Northwest. Of course, if persons don't need to take advantage of this service, please pass the word along to someone who might benefit. Again, we will be at the Salem Bible Baptist Church, 2283 Baker Road, January 21st at 2 p.m. Thank you.
No, thank you. And with that, everyone, I want to thank everybody for being here present and doing all that we're supposed to be doing. Thanks for your hard work, especially the municipal clerk's office and our parliamentarian's office also, and the law department. Thanks, everyone. So we are moving now to, we did our general remarks already, so goodness. Madam Clerk, can you please sound the adjourning roll call?
With pleasure, Madam President. We have Council President Marcy Collier Overstreet.
Present.
Councilmember Michael Julian Bond.
Yeah.
Councilmember Matt Westmoreland, Post 2 at large. Councilmember Isha Collins, Post 3 at large.
Present.
Councilmember Jason H. Winston, District 1. Councilmember Kelsey Bond, Post 2, District 2.
Here.
Councilmember Byron D. Amos, District 3. Councilmember Jason Doza, District 4. Councilmember Liliana Bakhtiari, District 5. Councilmember Alex Juan, District 6.
Oh, here, I'm here.
Councilmember Thomas Worthy, District 7. Present. Councilmember Mary Norwood, District 8. Councilmember Dustin Hills, District 9. Here. Councilmember Andrell Boone, District 10. Present. Councilmember Wayne Martin, District 11. Present. Councilmember Antonia Lewis, District 12.
All right, thank you. We are adjourned.